Facts about Giganotosaurus. An up-and-comer in the elite club of huge, terrifying meat-eating dinosaurs. In the last few decades, Giganotosaurus has attracted almost as much press as Tyrannosaurus rex and Spinosaurus.
On this video, you'll discover the most fascinating Giganotosaurus facts and why the giant lizard may have been even more fearsome than its better-known relatives.
The name Giganotosaurus has nothing to do with gigantic. Giganotosaurus, pronounced Giganotosaurus, is Greek for giant southern lizard, not gigantic lizard, as it's often mistranslated and mispronounced by people unfamiliar with classical roots as Giganotosaurus. This common error can be attributed to the numerous prehistoric animals that do, in fact, partake of the giganto root. Two of the most notable examples of being the giant feathered dinosaur Giganotosaurus and the giant prehistoric snake Gigantofish. Giganotosaurus fossils were discovered in 1993. Giganotosaurus was not discovered until 1993 in southern Argentina by Ruben Carolini, another mechanic who hunts dinosaur bones in his free time. Giganotosaurus lived in the mid-Cretaceous period, around 95 to 100 million years ago, during the end of Mesozoic era, also known as the Age of Reptiles. It was a theropod, which means beast-footed, mostly carnivorous, but also some omnivorous, herbivorous, or insectivorous. Giganotosaurus was bigger than Tyrannosaurus rex. Until Giganotosaurus was uncovered, Tyrannosaurus rex was thought to be the longest meat-eating dinosaur. As of now, Spinosaurus is considered to be the largest carnivorous dinosaur. Giganotosaurus is thought to have been one of the largest theropod dinosaurs, but the incompleteness of its fossil bones have made it difficult to estimate its size reliably. It is therefore impossible to determine with certainty whether it was larger than Tyrannosaurus. According to one estimate, Giganotosaurus had a skull 1.8 meters long, 13 meters long, weighing 8.2 tons, while T-Rex skull is only 1.5 meters long, 12 meters long, with weighs 8.4 tons. Scientists' estimates are not often the same, nor can they guarantee absolute accuracy. So which species is actually larger, we cannot be sure. But one thing we can easily see is that Gigant has a longer body, but T-Rex has a more muscular body, similar to comparing which is bigger between a tiger and a lion. Specifically, the lion is taller, but the tiger is longer and more muscular. In addition, cannot fail to mention the Spinosaurus. It is the longest carnivorous dinosaur, 15 to 16 meters long. However, its body is also less bulky than T-Rex and Gargantua. So for now, we can only know that these are the three largest carnivorous dinosaurs, and which one is really the heaviest is still uncertain. Giganotosaurus also had a smaller brain than T-Rex, and it had long knife-like teeth, good for slicing compared to T-Rex conical teeth that were good for crushing. Giganotosaurus preceded T-Rex by 30 million years. Giganotosaurus lived 30 million years before Tyrannosaurus rex, and it had a brain the size of a banana. It had a long, narrow head, but due to holes in its skull, its head was light. However, Giganotosaurus still had a strong enough head to bite prey. Giganotosaurus prowled the plains and woodlands of South America about 95 million years ago. Oddly enough, though, Giganotosaurus was a near contemporary of the biggest known meat-eating dinosaur, Spinosaurus, which lived in Africa. Why were the meat-eating dinosaurs of the late Cretaceous period comparatively petite compared to their middle Cretaceous forebears? No one knows, but it may have had something to do with the prevailing climate or the relative availability of prey. Giganotosaurus may have moved quite slowly. Giganotosaurus walked on two legs, although it is uncertain whether it was a fast or slow dinosaur. although Giganotosaurus had a slim pointed tail that may have helped it balance and make quick turns. Scientists have theorized that Giganotosaurus, along with other large theropods with short arms, ran slowly because if they fell, their short arms could not help break their fall, and they would be severely injured. However, research suggests that some of these theropods, such as Allosaurus, were able to crack and heal their ribs multiple times and still survive. On the other hand, Allosaurus was smaller than Giganotosaurus and T-Rex, so it is unclear whether Giganotosaurus and T-Rex would have been able to heal from falling injuries. Therefore, they may or may not have been fast dinosaurs. Giganotosaurus had super strong teeth. Giganotosaurus used its knife-like teeth to cut slices into sauropods, its prey. Giganotosaurus would keep cutting into the sauropod until the sauropod bled to death. Then Giganotosaurus would eat its prey. Giganotosaurus had 76 teeth and each tooth was 8 inches long. Giganotosaurus may have preyed on Argentinosaurus. Direct proof is lacking, but the discovery of the bones of the giant titanosaur, dinosaur Argentinosaurus, in the proximity of those Giganotosaurus at least hints at an ongoing predator-prey relationship. Since it's hard to imagine even a fully grown Giganotosaurus taking down a 50 tons Argentinosaurus adult, this may be a hint that this late Cretaceous meat-eater hunted in packs or at least in groups of 2 or 3 individuals. Giganotosaurus was the largest meat-eating dinosaur of South America. Although it wasn't the largest theropod of the Mesozoic era, that honor, as stated above, belongs to the African Spinosaurus. Giganotosaurus is secure in its crown as the largest meat-eating dinosaur of Cretaceous South America. Fittingly enough, its presumed prey Argentinosaurus holds the title of largest South American titanosaur, though lately there have been numerous pretenders. South America, by the way, is where the very first dinosaurs evolved way back during the Middle Triassic period, about 230 million years ago, though there is now some evidence that the ultimate ancestor of dinosaurs may have originated in Scotland. There has been a lot of debate lately about how fast Tyrannosaurus rex could run. Some experts insist this supposedly fearsome dinosaur could only attain a top speed of a relatively pokey 10 miles per hour. But based on a detailed analysis of its skeletal structure, it seems that Giganotosaurus was a bit fleeter, perhaps capable of sprints of 20 miles per hour or more when chasing down fleet-footed prey, at least for short periods of time. Bear in mind that Giganotosaurus wasn't technically a tyrannosaur, but a type of theropod known as Carcharodontosauridae, and thus related to Carcharodontosaurus. Giganotosaurus had an unusually small brain for its size. It may have been bigger and faster than Tyrannosaurus rex, but oddly enough, Giganotosaurus seemed to have been a relative dimwit by Middle Cretaceous standards, with a brain only about half the size of its more famous cousin, relative to its body weight, adding insult to injury to judge by its long narrow skull. Giganotosaurus' tiny brain appears to have been approximate shape and weight of a banana, a fruit that had yet to evolve 100 million years ago. Giganotosaurus was discovered by an amateur fossil hunter. Not all dinosaur discoveries can be credited to trained professionals. Giganotosaurus was unearthed in Patagonian region of Argentina in 1993 by an amateur fossil hunter named Ruben Dario Carolini, who surely must have been surprised by the size and heft of the skeletal remnants. The paleontologist who examined the Thai specimen acknowledged Carolini's contribution by naming the new dinosaur Giganotosaurus carolini. To date, this is still the only known Giganotosaurus species. To date, no one has identified a complete Giganotosaurus skeleton. As is the case with many dinosaurs, Giganotosaurus was diagnosed based on incomplete fossil remains, in this case a set of bones representing a single adult specimen. The skeleton discovered by Ruben Carolini in 1993 is about 70% complete, including the skull, hips, and most of the back and leg bones. To date, researchers have identified mere fragments of this dinosaur skull belonging to a second individual, which is still enough to peg this dinosaur as a Carcharodontosaur. Giganotosaurus was closely related to Carcharodontosaurus. There's something about giant predatory dinosaurs that inspires paleontologists to come up with cool sounding names. Carcharodontosaurus, shark-teeth lizard, and Tyrannotitan, giant tyrant, were both close cousins of Giganotosaurus, though the first lived in northern Africa rather than South America. The exception to this terrifying name rule is a plain, vanilla-sounding Mapusaurus, aka the earth lizard, another plus-size Giganotosaurus relative. Giganotosaurus versus Argentinosaurus. There is no way even hungrier Giganotosaurus would have been foolhardy enough to attack a fully grown Argentinosaurus. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that an impromptu pack of 3 adults has teamed up for the job. One individual arms for the base of Argentinosaurus' long neck, while the other 2 butt into Titanosaur flank simultaneously, attempting to knock it off balance. Unfortunately, even 25 or 30 tons of combined force isn't enough to dislodge a 100-ton obstacle. And the Giganotosaurus closer to Argentinosaurus' rump has left the saw wide open to a supersonic tail flick to the head, rendering it unconscious. Of the 2 remaining meat-eaters, one has been left dangling almost comically off Argentinosaurus' elongated neck, while the other savagely inflicts grotesque-looking, but mostly superficial, wounds under this Titanosaur's massive belly. And the winner is Argentinosaurus. There is a reason evolution favored gigantism in dinosaurs like Argentinosaurus. Out of a clutch of 15 to 20 hatchlings, only one needed to attain full maturity in order to perpetuate the breed, while the other babies and juveniles were hunted down by hungry theropods. If our Giganotosaurus pack had targeted a recently hatched Argentinosaurus rather than a full-grown adult, it might have been successful in its quest. As it is, though, the predators fall back warily and allow the wounded Argentinosaurus to walk slowly away, and then proceed to devour their fallen comrade. The content of this hunt is fictitious, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.